there's no doubt that the party position that you were helped frame and create was catastrophic in Leave seats in the Midlands and the north of England. You lost a whole swathe of seats, and in all the groups that support you at the Labour Party, the one group that doesn't is Labour Leave voters. What part of that policy, now looking back, do you think was wrong?
Well, Andrew, this question of why we lost is a central question. Yeah. We've now lost 4 elections in a row. And I went to 44 constituencies in this general election, and all of the teams I was talking to, of course, were asking me, and I was asking them, well, what are the issues coming up on the doors? And the issues, there were many of them, but they were the leadership, rightly or wrongly, fairly or unfairly, was coming up everywhere. The Brexit position and whether we were persuading people. More importantly, whether we were knocking down the Tories' claim that they would get Brexit done. Anti-Semitism came up as a question of values and competence, and there was a general feeling that the manifesto was overloaded. They were the 4 main reasons. I went to Lee last week to have a sort of debrief with activists and members there to say, you know, what did you feel here? And they came up with even more reasons. Cumulatively, we lost the public's trust in the Labour Party as a force for good and a force for change. And after 4 general election losses, we have to address that straight away. Because if we lose the next general election, that will be the longest period of Labour out of office since the Second World War. It's a period when we absolutely need a radical Labour government.
Now, you say we failed in this way, and we failed. That the we includes you on Brexit policy specifically. So I ask again, which bits of the policy that you created, looking back now, you feel you got wrong?
Well, Andrew, we didn't persuade on our policy. I thought that we should have taken a stronger position one way or the other, and I argued for it. I lost that argument, but I accepted the result. But we didn't.
But more Remain would have been even worse.
I think clarity about what your position is, and not being able to say, well, would you be Leave or Remain after a general election, was a problem, and I made that argument, but I accepted the decision.
Just picking up on that, do you think you would have won this election or done much better had you gone into the election as a clearly Remain party?
I think people wanted clarity and they wanted leadership. But what was coming up on the doorsteps and what the teams were telling me, and my own experience, was not so much people saying to me, I don't much like Labour's position, but they had bought the idea that if you voted Tory, you'd get Brexit done. And we didn't knock it down hard enough in the election. And I'd have liked the opportunity to knock it down hard, because that was what was coming back. People were saying to us, this will get Brexit done. We hadn't destroyed and wrestled that phrase to the ground.
When I interviewed John McDonnell just after the defeat, I said to him, nobody seems to be taking responsibility for the defeat. And he said, no, it's on me. I take responsibility. It's my defeat. I own it. Can you say the same thing?
We all have to take responsibility for this. It's a devastating result for the Labour Party, for Labour MPs, really good MPs who have not been returned, candidates who should have been Labour MPs, but for the millions of people who desperately needed change at that general election. They still need that change, and they're not now going to get it. So it's devastating. It's beyond sorry, it's devastating.